Hey, we're Najuah, and we were checking out YouKnowIGotSoul.com.
Take us back to the beginning, in your history in music. When did you guys first realize that, you're going to be serious about doing a career in music?
I think it started when we moved to Toronto. I bought a keyboard at this music store, and the guy who owned the music store was like, I have a friend who owns a studio. You guys want to come there and record? And we're like, oh, okay, let's go and check this out. So once that started, we just all of a sudden started to record, and we just really liked it. So we're like, this is something that we could actually do. So that's when it all started.
Okay. And what is it like being sisters and working together? What's the synergy there?
It's good, it's definitely one of those things, like, if you get into, like, a fight, you can forgive each other, like, you call mom. She's going to say, yeah, guys have to get along. So, it's definitely a thing where you respect each other, and you know that, like, if you're having it out or you disagree with something, you can still come back together and, like, work on it, and it's not, no feelings are hurt there.
Yeah.
Also, it's a great working relationship, because we just know what the other one is thinking in terms of melodically or even lyrically, so it allows for us to sort of build songs in a sort of different dynamic just because we've known each other for such a long time.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. And now I want to talk about your music. How would you guys describe the sound? For someone who hasn't had a chance to hear you or is just listening to you for the first time, how would you describe the sound of your guys' music?
I think we're an eclectic mix of, like, all our influences. We grew up listening to, like, a lot of rock music, and we grew up in London, Ontario, so, our first influences just living there was like, a lot of rock music, and our friends listened to country, so, but then, as we got older, we listened to more, like, urban music, so I think we're just, like, the bridge between the two, like, live instruments, live sounds, so we like live instruments and sound with, like, sounds of soul. That's really, yeah, and we definitely, we draw our influences from, songwriters and also bands from the 70s. Like, we really like that. And I think, lyrically we love, writers like Carole King and Joni Mitchell. But, we love the hair bands of the 80s and all the guitar riffs. And definitely, bands like The Who, musicality-wise. And, just different influences in that sense. So I think we are kind of a bridging of that, like just a little rock meets R&B, I guess. Yeah, a little bit of soul, but we do love that aspect of singer-songwriters, the descriptive music, very detail-oriented, like you can visualize, the song as the person singing it.
Yeah.
But we also love, if you've ever seen old clips of Queen, those sort of stadium shows where, it's like this band that just commands like thousands of people, and I think we're definitely influenced by having music like that where, we always use the word epic whenever everything has to be epic. Really big sounds, tons of guitar. The more guitars, the better. Yeah, so, like, that's definitely our influence. Yeah, 'cause we have 3 guitar players, so everything has to be big.
Okay, cool. Good stuff. And now, I know you guys perform with a band. You even mentioned you draw your influences from bands, and you guys perform with a full band and record with a band. So, what is it like, what does it mean to you to perform like in that way? Because I know here, especially in the U.S., a lot of people record and, do production with machines and they perform even over an audio track. So what does it mean to you perform like that and record like that?
We like live stuff. Like, everything has to be live. Live drums, live guitars. Like, we refuse to use stuff like, audio tracks or, as much as possible, every now and then, obviously, that maybe can come into your song, but if we can get our drummer to play or have a drummer play or a guitar player, like, as much as live stuff as possible. I think it just allows for us to see as well what a live show could potentially be like. Like, it's just important for us that whatever we record, it can translate onto stage, and I think it allows for us to really play around and to really be creative. Like, when you record right off the floor with a bunch of guys and, you're there in the booth, it's a different dynamic than, programming everything and then trying to do it live later. I think a lot of creativity interpretation happens when you're recording right off the floor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We kind of have this thing, like, if we can do it live, that's, like, we want to be comfortable doing it live, so we always try to make sure our recording has as much of that as possible.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And now, I was reading that you guys work together in songwriting. You collaborate on the songwriting. So, what's that process like when you guys are working together to make a song?
It's actually as easy as it's not a difficult process. It's because, like, whether it's her writing alone or I write a song alone, and we bring the song together and we complete it together. Like, we just really just bridge the ideas. And we have this thing, like, if it's good, we leave it alone. So if she writes something really good, I write something really good, and we decide to use it, we go that way. There's no egos involved. I think you have to really, like, put that stuff aside.
Yeah.
Like, when we wrote Eden, it was just like we were sitting on the couch and we just had the guitar and we just started, one person hummed something, another person hummed another thing, and then all of a sudden we were like, oh, we fit. And so we sort of kind of go with that, like our gut instinct in terms of melodically, especially if we're sitting in it, like we're sitting together coming up with stuff. So a lot of times it just depends on what song, like the vibe we're at, or like, you know, what's going on. Like if we're in studio, we definitely are side by side trying to figure it out and, you know, work out the lyrics, work out the melodies. And so a lot of times it just, I think, key for us, it just has to be, you know, there has to be melody in it that we love and words that, you know, we can relate to. And sometimes we'll do songs, like even with like a freestyle, like we were literally sitting on the couch and that song was written in like 3 minutes. So sometimes it just happens really quickly, and other times we have to like think it through.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And now your project coming out is your debut EP, Misery and Love. You know, what can we expect to find on there?
Lots of songs about love and heartbreak and the misery, because we were actually sitting in the car and we're just like, people love songs about love and misery, and we realized like our whole album is about like, you know, breaking up or feeling sad about that, or just those ups and downs you feel in relationships. So I think people will hear a lot of that. I mean, we do have some mixture. We have some songs that aren't necessarily about love and heartbreak, but they'll be hearing songs that are really personal and about our experiences. Yeah, and we're in LA now just like finessing some songs, and so, you know, definitely lots of guitar tracks, but definitely I think the main topic, and I think a lot of songwriters love to write about love, because I think everyone can relate to that.
Definitely.
But I think it's definitely going to take you're going to see a lot of our influences, you're going to see a lot of that 70s vibe, you're going to feel like some R&B, you're going to feel some country in there, so people can definitely expect an experience, that's for sure, because I think every song stands alone. Every song is different. Okay,
cool. And earlier you mentioned the single Eden that you guys created. You know, how's the single been received so far?
So far, a lot of people have actually released it. I mean, some of our friends who have been following us for a very long time, they were just like, your best work so far. So, I mean, we've had a lot of good, positive responses to the song so far.
That's great. Nice. And then just one more question. You know, I know you guys were born in Africa and then, you know, came over to Canada. Do you think that will, you know, kind of help you bring a new sound, you know, to what's missing currently, especially here in the U.S.?
You know, it's interesting, because even like with our percussions, I'm not sure if you've heard some of the other songs, but we love percussions and heavy drums, like the tribal drums. So in some of our songs, the drumming, we have that, like, there are African influences, and also in the melodies we write. Sometimes we listen to a song and we're like, oh, this reminds us of the song we heard when we were kids in terms of like the influence melodically. So we try to like put some of that stuff in our music as much as possible.
Cool.
Yeah, so definitely we feel like, you know, and even just, you know, for Africa, and especially from where we're from, in Uganda in general, it's great to sort of, you know, artists, you know, delving into different genres, you know, like, you're not always going to see, like, artists like us, you know, being fronted by a bunch of guys, you know, like rock guys. So I think it's definitely going to put a different spin on music and, like, different outreach, you know what I mean? You can definitely dabble into different aspects of it, you know. It just will open up the door for a lot of people, I feel.
Okay, cool. And that's all I got for you guys. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I think I guess we're really excited. We're excited to like introduce a new sound and something really different. So we want to add that. We're excited, and we're really looking forward to share this album with people.